Okay, Yili! Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm about to show you how I cut your prescription transition lenses for your RayBan 5121, color 2000, size 50, and of course color 2000 is the shiny black, classic shiny black. You got the RayBan frame, the RayBan Wayfarer case, your black RayBan cloth. This is how it comes to me, with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple. If RayBan thinks it's a good idea to send it with one sleeve on there, I'm going to get a second one and send it to you on the other side. So the first thing I'm going to do is pop out the original demo lenses that come in here that say RayBan. They pop those out real quick. I'm going to put those in the bag because they belong to you. If you ever want to sell this frame years from now, you can put those back in there and no one's going to know the difference. So I'm going to put your frame into the tracing element of my Santinelli edger. It's going to trace your right lens and then your left lens here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy the frame and you get free single vision prescription lenses, and of course you upgrade it to the transition, so that's all you paid for in terms of your lens options. Now your lenses are the thinner, lighter weight, unbreakable, bulletproof, up to 22 caliber, and have both UVA and UVB protection. So what I'm going to do is pull the shape up on the computer now, type in your pupillary distance. This is a polycarbonate lens. I'm cutting for a Xyle frame, which is an old school name for plastic. So what I'm going to do is take your lenses out of the packets that they come in, and I'm going to spin this to minus 175. You have no astigmatism. I'm going to put it in my Marco 101 lensometer. Double check everything, put that on 175. Put a dot where your optical center is, and we are good to go. That is your right lens. I'm going to do the same thing for your left. Pull that out. Find your optical center, which is going to be dead center in front of your pupil. I'm going to darken that dot so you can see it later on. Now I'm going to there's a block that goes on here while it's cutting in the lathe. So I'm going to put this on. There's a little double-sided adhesive sticker. The black side is the sticky side. I'm going to put that on the block. Oops, got it in there wrong. Let me trim this off because you have a narrow PD. So let me trim that. Put this in here. Now I'll pull that sticker off. And I'm going to put this on your right lens. I'm going to come over and do the same thing on your left. So put that on there. A little sticky pad, pull off that side. And now we are good to go. Let's go ahead and get started. Put this in and hit start. The first thing that's going to happen is this LMU is going to come down and trace the shape of your frame onto the lens to make sure it is large enough to fit into the frame. And it should be if all goes well. Oh, let me reblock this. I can do this manually. So what we're going to do, let me take this one off, because you do have a fairly narrow PD. I'm going to go old school here. This is what we used to do back in the day. Pull that one off again. And I'm going to decenter manually. Your frame PD is 72. Your PD is 60, so that's a difference of 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I'm going to decenter your lens 6 millimeters in here. And now block it up and we will see what happens. Let's hit start. Oh, you know what? I never finished doing it manually. Let me recalibrate the machine. Move that all the way over there. And now we are good to go. Actually, I'm hitting the wrong buttons again. This is the one I was trying to hold down. Now, let's see if it traces. Much better this time, much better. So it's tracing the concave side of your lens first, which is closest to your eyelashes. Then it's going to move over and measure the convex side. The actual cutting wheel is down here at the bottom, which is going to grind away the polycarbonate material. And then this wheel in the center is actually going to put the bevel onto the lens. It is going to get loud in just a moment. I'll have to close the door, but for now I want you to see your lens touch the cutting wheel. This whole process should take about 15 minutes. It is now 8:12 on Friday, March 14th, 57 degrees in my hometown of Durham, North Carolina. I need to decenter your left lens manually now. This is how I can make do using a larger without using a larger blank. Move it over 6 millimeters like before, and then put that on there. Clean up my mess. Now here's your original lenses that came with your frame that say RayBan on there. I'm going to put this in the bag. Get everything ready for shipping. So Yili, you broke your last frames in the center, did you? Well, this is going to be a strong frame. It's got metal triple barrel hinges on here. Very thick, rigid construction. It's going to be hard for you to break this. Now, that's not a dare, that's not a challenge. But this is a well-made frame, and hopefully you won't have the same problems you did with the last pair. You can almost run over this with a tank. So if you notice, it's completely flat. Now it's going around and putting the bevel onto the lens, so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. And actually, I'd be quite shocked if it fits inside the frame. I may have to take it down a little bit more. This frame has a very thick bevel, but I can always take more off. I can never add back to it, so I'm going to start slow until it fits just perfect. So it's getting a little optical bath now. Just cleaning away all the residue, although this is a little bit of a wasted effort because as soon as it comes out, I'm going to put some more on there. Alright, I'm going to take this out of the chuck. I'm going to dry everything off so your lens is slippery when wet, and I can't drop this on live TV. So this is my handstone. It's completely flat. It works on friction. I can put my hand on it while it's running. If you notice this white powdery substance on the edge of your lens, I'm going to use my thumbnail to scrape it off. Just got a text from my best friend. Let's see what he's got to say. Okay, boy, that was an important text. Alright, let me finish doing this. Now let's see if it fits. Well, I'll be shocked if it does. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner and press down at the nose. Nope. Let me take it down some more. Don't go anywhere, frame. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to take it down 1/10 of a millimeter and hit retouch. So in it goes. Actually, I'm going to take it down just a little bit more than 1/10 because this does have a deep bevel. Okay. Stop it. Stop it. Here we go. So it's not going to go on the cutting wheel this time, it's just going to go on the bevel wheel. And it's going to go round and round and take just about 1/15 of a millimeter. A millimeter is the distance between my thumbnails, so it's going to take 0.15, which is 1/10 of a millimeter smaller than 1/4 of a millimeter. But all the way around. Hopefully you can still see it through the door. Now your prescription, let me write that down. I got a better notepad than that. Your prescription is a -175 in both eyes. Everything is in quarter increments. So this using a measurement is called a diopter. You've heard of gallons, ounces, pounds. This is a diopter. This is how we measure prescriptions. Everything is in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. You're at -175. So that's 7 steps of correction in both eyes. You have no astigmatism whatsoever, which means your eye is completely round. All astigmatism is referring to a shape. If you have a second curvature. So astigmatism makes everything clear. Well, once it's corrected. Yours is completely spherical, meaning you just need not magnification, the opposite of magnification. You need minification. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner and then using my thumbs, press down. Perfect, perfect. Let's go ahead and cut your left lens. Flip that over to left and then hit start. Same procedure as before. Now, as I was saying, without your glasses on, objects are actually way larger than they appear. So when you're looking at my guns, they're bigger than, they're way bigger than they really are. So when you put your glasses on, they kind of shrink down into that little chicken bone that they are. Although the wife loves them, so, you know, hey, I got that going for me. But, so that's all you need. You don't actually need any astigmatism correction. Some people need both. They need the actual to minify or magnify and then take away the fuzzy edges. With astigmatism, 6s and 8s look alike, the letters P and F look alike. But you don't have that problem. You just need to get everything the correct size. Everything is clear, just the wrong size. So, you put that on. Let's go ahead and keep working. I'm going to take this block off. It is no longer needed. So I'm going to put that there. Pull this off. And actually my red dot is gone, so I'm going to put another one on there. I'm going to line this up, find my optical center right there. Put a red dot on your lens, and let me darken this a little bit more because we're going to need to measure that later on, and I want you to see that. That is your optical center. That is going to sit dead center in front of your pupil, and the left one will do just the same. So, tear off that, throw in the trash can behind me. I really hope I can get this done in 20 minutes. YouTube has a 20-minute cutoff. If I go over it, this video becomes 2 parts. And I'm trying to avoid that, so let's go fast. Let's go fast. Now, what happened earlier, because of the size of this frame and your PD, what a PD does is I'm custom making these lenses in this frame for you. So if someone with the same prescription put these on but their eyes were wider apart or closer together, they would not see as well as you. They will get a prismatic effect. So that's what the red dots are going to measure. Now what happens, because this is a larger frame and you have a smaller eye size, I'm going to need a larger and larger lens to fill the spot as I have to move it over. A normal size lens. Let me grab one from behind me. I stock several thousand lenses, so I'm never without. But if this were the center of your lens, let me put a red dot on here. If this were the center, which is how I laid it out earlier, in order to do 60, I have to move it over. When it does, when I move it over that far, there's an empty gap here. So what I do is I decenter manually. Instead of moving the lens over this way, I set it up where I cut manually and let the machine do the work. So that's how I can use a smaller lens to fit into that. Let me clean this up, clean up my mess. Put this back inside the packet. Now this is a good time to explain all optical shops, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. So if this is ever too loose or too tight or high on one side, just stop by your local place and tell them. It should only take them about 30 seconds for them to adjust it where it fits perfect. But before I send it to you, I'm going to make sure it's in standard alignment, meaning that it's sitting level on the table. Although 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other, that's why we have to adjust every pair of glasses. Alright, so we are done. Let me pull this out of the chuck. Thank you, Chuck. I'm going to dry this off again, and now I'm going to use the safety bevel to take off these rough edges. I'm going to go around like that. And using my thumbnail, I'm going to scrape away the rest of this debris. And I do this so much all day long, I have worn a V-shaped bevel into my thumbnail. My friends call it my occupational thumbnail. So again, I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner, closest to me, and using my thumbnails, I'm going to push down. Snaps right in perfectly. I'm going to take this block off. Pull that off, and of course I don't see the red dot on there anymore, so let me put a new one. Let me find the optical center, which is essentially like the crosshairs of a scope. I'm going to darken that so that you can see the measurement, and if all goes well, see I threw my I'll have to use a new sticky pad. If all goes well, it'll be 60, and of course it is. I'll have no fear. We'll place my pupillary stick up, and then when we look on that side, we are getting 60 millimeters from the center of one dot to the center of the other. So I do want to clean these dots off before I activate your lenses, which is a term for darkening them. I've got a fake sun. Now of course, let me get the frame in standard alignment. where it's going to do a 3-point stance. The 3 points are each temple tip and then the bottom of the frame. That looks good. I'm going to flip it over. There's no wobble there. I'm going to make sure each hinge lines up on top of the other perfectly with the same amount of tension, and they do. So now I want to activate these for you. Turn them from clear, as you see them now, into the dark lens. So I'm going to put them in my little transitions box, which is just a strong UV light, and show you how they darken. Now, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for them to darken. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, about 45 seconds to a minute and 15 seconds. Now, all transition lenses, as you're about to see, will get dark on day 1, but they will continue to darken every day for the first couple weeks until they get to their final setting. After that, you will have years of maximum performance. The one time they will not work, however, is when you're in your car, in a traditional car behind a traditional windshield. Any car made after the mid-90s has UV protection, and it's the sun's ultraviolet rays that cause them to turn dark. So as soon as you step out of the car, they will turn dark, but your windshield is protecting your dashboard so it doesn't crack from sitting in the sun. Now, they do work a little bit better in cooler temperatures. Once it gets into the 90s, and especially the upper 90s, they don't get as dark as they will today. It's hot, it's miserable, you're miserable, they're miserable, everyone's miserable when it's in the upper 90s. Now you can see how they've turned dark. They will lighten as I continue to speak, and of course as you wear them the first couple weeks, they're going to get darker and darker every day for the first few weeks. So, Yili, I appreciate that. You could have bought your glasses from anyone, but you bought them from the guy who gives you the free prescription lenses. Well played, sir. If anyone has any questions, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. And Yili, hopefully you've been entertained as you see your glasses being made. The RayBan 5121, color 2000, size 50. And if I can be any more help, I'm only email away. And thank you very much. And hopefully you've had a chance to see how I bring that loving feeling back to glasses. Thank you.